It's the JT Cho Show!
It's not that, it's not that. You just said
That's exactly what it is.
Everything unmuted. Cool. Welcome back to another episode of the JT Show. Joining me is Kat. How you doing, Kat?
Chilling. How you doing?
Doing great. It is February 16th today. Who do you got for your birthday?
My birthday. He's a great man. I've known him for a real long time. The main star from Reading Rainbow, Mr. LeVar Burton.
Wow.
Turned 67 today.
Wow.
He was also in Star Trek and a couple other things, but he has no cheap.
Mine is somebody that turns 35 today, which is Elizabeth Olsen, aka the Scarlet Witch.
I saw that.
Which is crazy because I always thought she was just a little bit older. Man, that's right. I have a shot age-wise.
Yeah. I had that same realization when I found out how old, what's her name was from Pitch Perfect?
Anna Kendrick?
Anna Kendrick, yeah. I was like, damn, she's only a couple years older than me. I think she's like 34.
Yeah, she's my age.
Yeah, good luck.
Anna Kendrick, do you ever like guys who look like me?
Guys who look like me?
Yeah, I'm right here, you know?
Oh, man.
It's like
cool and mysterious guys like you.
You know the chick, I don't know if you've seen her pod at all, but I see her clips. She's the chick who works for Your Mom's House who interviews dudes. She's got blonde hair and she talks about dating and stuff. She'll just talk about relationships. Like she was wearing this like dress that really pushed up her boobs.
Oh, the something.
And Mark Norman was like, "I didn't even notice your dress was yellow."
Yeah. Her name's like Lisa Compton or something.
Yeah.
Which I found out not Will Compton's wife. I thought it was Will Compton's wife. It is not Will Compton's wife.
She likes medium ugly guys and dad bods.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
like,
dad bods are kind of
and that gave me hope.
Yeah.
Gave me hope.
Dad bods are definitely in nowadays, which is funny.
I would just say medium ugly. Like and Ari Shafir was like, "Why? So they worship you?" And she was like, "Yeah, pretty much."
Yeah.
Haha, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I will. Got some new Funko Pops for the display. We're starting construction on the new podcast studio pretty soon.
Oh yeah, this is the coolest Funko that he's got so far. It's Mr. Batman Beyond. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly, dude. Terry was always one of my favorite Batmans.
I always had the idea that Batman Beyond should be a video game, and the coolest part about it is you can make it like Skyrim, like completely customizable for like your build and stuff like that. Because for 90% of the game, you're gonna have the fucking Batsuit on anyways.
Plus, I mean, what you could do is instead of starting at the beginning, you can have some story where his suit's all fucked up, so he has to go collect different parts and materials, so he can't fly around.
Well, I think you just started off like normal. So in the beginning of Batman Beyond, he doesn't get full access to Wayne Manor.
Yeah.
So like you could just go like you reach level 2, now you get to use the Batarang.
Yeah.
Reach level 3, now you get the grapple. He just meets old Bruce and he's going through and like as you progress through it, and then obviously like the last 5 bosses are Bruce's old fucking nemesises like Bane and Joker and
you got old
Riddler.
Bane, you got Circuit Chip Joker, and then you also have the new scary Joker guy who's crazy. He's the one that like attacked the nightclub that one time. They're like the clowns of the future.
Oh yeah. He's not really Joker. He's just the guy that's like leading that crew of people that wear clown masks. Yeah. And I don't remember his name, but Joker is like around.
Yeah. And then I really like the Card family in that series.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then
they're good too. Old Bane's probably my favorite arc in that. Just because he's just old and yacked, and he's still like juiced up all the time, and Terry's got to fight him, and then fucking Bruce comes out of nowhere. The only sad part about that whole thing is fucking Alfred's not around because Bruce is like fucking 70.
If
Alfred was 70 when Bruce was 20.
This man's 160.
Yeah,
still serving the Wayne family.
I saw a clip that was, I think it was from one of the movies, and it was someone died. Fuck, I can't even remember the clip now, dude. I can't even remember what he says, but someone dies that's like Alfred's nephew or something like that he was put in charge of or something. Or like one of the Robins died. And then like the other Robin comes out, like Dick Grayson comes out and he's like, oh, what do we do, Alfred? And he's like, guns loose, young Master Robin. And that was it. And then he just like looks out the window, and that's how you know they mean fucking business, because they never kill anybody. Yeah. He's like, fucking get them.
The business.
Yeah.
All the business.
Yeah, it's a good little fucking clip. One thing, biggest thing that happened since last time is Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And I'm not being a Chiefs hater. I'm going to be yelled at because I'm a Brady fan, and Mahomes is like the baby goat or whatever you want to call him. And he's doing great. 3 rings before he's 28. Him, Brady, and Troy Aikman are the only guys to do that. And that's pretty good fucking company. So he's like already a Hall of Famer. That's just a given. I think if you win 3 Super Bowls, you're a Hall of Famer. I think if you win 2 Super Bowls, you're a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Just because not very many people have done that either. But, big but, in all the 3 Super Bowls that Patrick Mahomes has won, the Chiefs have never been called for an offensive holding.
Wow.
They were the 5th most penalized team this year as far as holds are concerned. Didn't have a single holding call.
Hilarious.
Not a single one.
It's wild.
It's interesting. Mm-hmm. I don't think the fix is in or anything. It's just a weird fucking stat.
Yeah.
And also Joey Bosa was quoted saying they hold a lot after the game. Like directly after in his press conference. He's like, yeah, they hold a lot.
Yeah.
Because they were asking about like how it is getting pressure to him and stuff. He's just like, yeah, they hold.
Yeah, I saw some clips and replays of some holding.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like, this is probably where the hate's going to come in. There is holding on almost every play of football. But sometimes they're fucking egregious. Sometimes they're not so egregious, and they get called anyways. They got to make, like, a fucking... They got to have... There can't be a gray area for those penalties. Because those are the types of penalties that can, like, morph how the game proceeds.
Right.
I mean, it's... And then on top of that, the holding penalty, you get a whole new set of downs, defensive holding or offensive holding, and you fucking just replay the down. You lose 5 yards, replay the down.
Right.
So, like, I think there needs to be a bigger penalty for offensive holding, especially if they're not going to call it all the fucking time.
Right.
Like, if they're just going to let them get away with, like, 90% of it and then only call it a little bit, they should make it a bigger penalty. And then maybe dudes will be more careful and there won't be as many holds. I don't know. But I think that needs to change. Not saying I hate the Chiefs by any means. I don't like people getting close to Brady's record, but let's be honest, he could double his rings and he still wouldn't be Brady.
At the same time, football's a fickle game to where, they're rolling, but so are the Patriots, and their little mini run.
Well, so the Patriots, at this point in Brady's career, technically, Pat Mahomes has a 10-year window where Brady didn't win any rings. Mm-hmm. Because the next ring he won after his 3rd, or no, I guess it was after his 4th. Was it?
I think he went 3 in 2000s and 3 in the teens.
Oh, he won 4 in the teens, or 1 in 2021, or whatever it was. But so there was a 10-year span between the first 3 and the second 3. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the next one they won was like 2015, 2016, something like that.
And it was like 06 maybe?
Yeah, because that's right. Because 2010 was the year Brady was the first unanimous MVP, and that's when he had like, I don't know, he had like 40 touchdowns and like 5 interceptions or something ridiculous. It's fucking a crazy year, and we lost again to the Giants. But
fucking Giants.
Fuck the Giants, dude. Fucking hate them. I hate the Giants way more than I hate the Chiefs. I want to make that very clear.
Yeah.
Fuck the Giants.
Yeah, but they could never make it again.
They could never make it again, and that's what people said that about Pat Mahomes like 4 years ago too. Like after his first ring, they were just like, yeah, he could just never get back there. He could just be one of those guys that wins really early in his career, like Troy Aikman. Yeah. He won 3 before he turned 28. Nothing after that. Mm-hmm. He had a pretty long career as far as like careers in the 80s and 90s were concerned, but like. And then people comparing, like, oh, he's on pace to, like, crush Brady's records. He's going to have 11 rings if he plays the same amount of years as Brady. That's a wild assumption.
Right.
That you're going to have this type of production for 2 decades. Mm-hmm. Like, Brady's the only person to ever have done that for 2 decades straight.
Right.
Like, no one else has done that. I mean, the only one that was close to that was Peyton, But when Peyton won his last ring, his arm was fucking falling off.
His
like, that was basically a participation trophy. Like, he had one amazing fucking throw in that Super Bowl.
That's all he needed him for.
And that was it. And then that defense, the Von Miller-led defense, was fucking insane that year.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was falling apart towards the end. He got that Brett Favre shoulder towards the end of it from slinging that shit.
And his neck was fucked up.
Yeah, and his neck was fucked up. He got all the stem cells in the world couldn't fix that fucking neck, dude. Holding up that head for that long.
Yeah, and that helmet.
Yeah, that big old fucking helmet. I love the Pete Davidson joke. The Super Bowl is what Peyton's mom used to cut his hair with.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a fantastic fucking joke. And then Peyton clapped back at him. He's like, yeah, I met Pete in the back room, and I thought he was a Make-A-Wish kid. I was like, don't worry, man, you'll pull through.
That's funny.
Yeah, they're good. But yeah, so Chiefs win the Super Bowl. I lost all my preseason bets. Came down to the wire, though. 2 legs hit. Couldn't get the third. It's okay.
Damn.
It happens.
I hit my Super Bowl bet.
Nice.
And it was literally the last play, passing touchdown, and the Chiefs win. So Pat Mahomes over 1.5, and the Chiefs win.
You had the script.
Yeah, I had it.
You had the script. I had the script. I was off by a half yard.
Yeah.
By a half yard. And you know what's fucked, too, is Christian McCaffrey, the last rushing play he had, went for -3 yards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He had 83 yards, and his over was 80.5. And then he went for -3 yards on his last rush.
There's the one thing that happened in the Super Bowl, too, where, like, the over-under was, like, 47.5, and or whatever the total of the game was. If they would have kicked the field goal, they would have beat the half-point spread. Mm-hmm. But they never kicked the field goal after they won the Super Bowl in overtime. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you during the game. I was like, that's guaranteed to hit now. Like, the under's just there. Yeah. Like, because they're not going to kick the extra point.
Yeah.
They don't do that. There's no point.
Yeah.
They just fucking
They're
score.
Supposed to.
Not at the end of the game in overtime. They don't. Even in Madden, you don't.
Yeah, but they used to.
Maybe in the fucking early 2000s, not in the last 10 years.
On every touchdown, you have to kick the field goal.
Not if it's to end the game in overtime.
I thought so.
If it's the end of regulation, they kick it, but not in overtime. As soon as the old rules in overtime used to be, you score a touchdown, game's over.
Right.
Why would you kick the extra point? Game's already over.
I thought they used to force them though.
For what? Nothing about that's going to change the outcome of the game.
Right.
There was no point.
Because teams used to like walk off or not send people out.
Well, yeah, that was a thing that happened in the early 2000s. That's what I was saying. Yeah. That was like fucking 20 years ago. That was when Pete Carroll coached the fucking Patriots back in like 2000 or 99 or something like that.
Late teens.
No, that was an old one. That was before, because Pete Carroll coached the Patriots back in the day. That was like one of the things, because they changed the spread of one of the games because the Patriots were supposed to kick an extra point after the game at like the end of regulation. But in protest, I can't remember who it was, but in protest, they just didn't field a special teams for defense. Mm-hmm. So they just had the kicker walk it in for 2, and it went over.
Right.
So instead of like the 1 point, it went over by the half.
Right.
And yeah, even in Madden, if you go into overtime and you throw a touchdown, that's it. They don't have you kick nothing. I don't know when that rule changed, but it had to have changed at some point because it used to be a thing. You are right. That was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, I just can't remember when I thought it was more as a recent.
Yeah, but also the overtime rules in the Super Bowl are completely different than overtime rules anywhere else. And I did hear, what's his name? Was it Chuck Noll was talking about it after the game with Mahomes? He said if they had needed more time, since it was still their first possession, it would have just went to double overtime.
Yeah, and they would have
the clock just would have reset at 15 minutes.
And I think they would have switched sides of the field too.
Maybe, yeah, but the clock would have just started over at 15 minutes, and then they would have scored the touchdown, and the game would have been over.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I think the whole thing's funny, and like the Chiefs knowing the overtime rules better than the Niners is just insane to me. I think that's crazy because the Chiefs thought it was nuts that the Niners wanted the ball first.
Yeah.
Because like, and then there was a scene. Juszczyk came back and he was like, he was on the sideline mic'd up and he was like, yeah, if we score a touchdown, they still get the ball. I didn't know that. Right. So like he was one of like, he's not the main player on the team, but he's he's a starter.
He thought if we score a touchdown, it's over.
Yeah, because that's how it is in every other game. But as of last year, for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Not even playoff games, just like for the Super Bowl.
I think it is playoff games.
Is it playoff games?
Because they changed it. It's the Pat Mahomes rule because I mean, not the Josh Allen rule, because Josh Allen lost to Patrick Mahomes because they didn't get the ball back in overtime. So the next year, they changed the rules, and then they met in overtime.
Well, that was the thing with Brady in the playoff game against Mahomes. It was the same thing.
But then the next year, that AFC game between the Bills and the Chiefs went into overtime.
Yeah. And
the Chiefs still beat the Bills, and then the memes were... you get the NFL to change the rules in your favor, and you still can't win a game and overtime. A game in overtime. So that just happened between the last couple of years when those two met, because
I think that was new as of this year.
Yeah, especially for the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
because it used to be
it's the first time we've seen it in the Super Bowl, because the only other Super Bowl to go into overtime was the Patriots Falcons, and that rule wasn't a thing at the time.
If I'm correct, I think it changed for the regular season first, where each team gets a possession unless you score a touchdown.
Yes.
And then the playoffs used to be old school regular. I don't give a fuck if it's a field goal. First points is first points. And then as of recent, within the last 5 or 6 years, they've changed it to each team gets a possession in overtime during that Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen feud. And then now they even changed the rules in the Super fucking Bowl this year.
Yeah, that was new as of this year, where even if the first team scored a touchdown, you still got the opportunity to go down and
which I like,
try to do something. I like it too, but I don't know. I feel like maybe the Niners were just underprepared.
So either
because the Chiefs said they had meetings once a week about the overtime rules, just so everyone understood.
I'd say just in overtime, each team gets a possession at the opposing 40. Each time.
I honestly think college football has the overtime rules right.
Yeah, 25.
Like no kickoffs. Just you start from the 25. If both teams scores, you move it back. Both teams score again, you move it back. Both teams score again, you move it back. I mean, just keep it at the 25. Fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, for pros though, you have teams that are good in the red zone, and you have teams that are.
If you're in the playoffs, you got to be able to score when you're in the red zone.
True.
You got to be able to.
Yeah.
And if you get stopped, that means you were stopped by an elite defense, or you fucked up.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it should be 20-yard increments, and then eventually they should just have to go from their own one and drive the length of the field.
Yeah.
Like no time limits, nothing like that. Just like go.
Yeah.
And then if you don't fucking get it, you don't get it, and then the other team gets it from their one, and they try to fucking there's a play clock, but there's no 15-minute quarters. It's just score a touchdown or don't, almost like a superstar KO, where it's like. No kicking. I mean, you could punt if you want, but I think that'd be fucking stupid. Because, I mean, you're not going to give up field position anyways, because they have to start from a certain spot anyways, unless they pick it off and run it back. But that's a different thing.
Right.
But, yeah, I think the rules need to be changed a little bit. I mean, if they're going to change it this much...
They might as well make it more entertaining.
Might as well adopt the college rules, make it entertaining. It's going to run up those fucking scores, too. So, Vegas is going to have to take that into consideration. Because, the over for the game could be, 30, and then both teams have 15 at the end of regulation, and then next thing you know, it's fucking 44-44, and they're going into triple overtime. Is
it Larry David who talked about getting rid of kickers altogether?
Yeah, Larry David had the funny take on that, yeah.
But I would like to see one football game played like that.
It would be interesting, but I mean, that's just part of the game. It always has been part of the game. That's
yeah.
That'd be like taking out relief pitchers.
Yeah.
In the MLB, oh, this guy's been pitching all game, and then all of a sudden you bring this guy in and he can just win it. Yeah, that's kind of how the game works.
Or kicking away from rugby.
Yeah, well, kicking's a huge part of rugby. That's it's a huge part of football. I mean, all the I think the top 5 or top 10 highest scoring players in the NFL are kickers. Because I did find this out, quarterbacks that throw the ball for touchdowns, they don't get that towards their point scored. That goes to the wide receiver or the running back, whoever walks it into the end zone.
But
so passing touchdowns don't count towards their overall points scored. So Tom Brady's overall points scored are just his ones that he rushed in.
Yeah.
Or the field goals that he kicked in, because he does have 2 field goals that he's kicked.
That makes a lot more sense why.
I found that out last week, because I was looking up points scored, and I was like, damn, Adam Vinatieri is the all-time leader in points scored in the NFL. But that makes sense, because every time someone scores a touchdown, he's getting 1 point.
Yeah.
Every time he kicks a field goal, he's getting 3.
Yeah.
When Tom Brady throws a touchdown, he's not getting anything.
Right.
But Randy Moss is getting 6. Wes Welker was getting 6. Julian Edelman's getting 6.
Yeah.
Doesn't go to Tom. So that's a kicker stat.
But if Tom throws 40 touchdowns and 25 of them go to Randy Moss.
All 25 of those touchdowns count as Randy's overall point totals.
But Adam gets 40 points if he goes 40 for 40 on all the touchdowns, which is crazy.
Yeah,
because like Hansen for a while, the Detroit Lions kicker, who kicked forever, their only good player through their roughest patches. He was the franchise leading record, and I was like, damn, dude, Stafford's got to have to break that. And then he never did, and I was like, wow, that's so crazy. And now this makes way more sense.
Way more sense.
Yeah.
Because, what does Tom Brady have? Over 700 touchdowns or something like that? Something ridiculous?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he would have way more points than any of them because no one else has scored that much. I mean, multiply that by 6.
My early Patrick Mahomes prediction, and probably someone will clip it 20 years from now when I'm wrong and just play it for hating, but I think he'll break stat records of Brady's pretty easily if he keeps going at this pace, but getting 7, I think the most he'll get in his career is 4, because the NFL, I mean, that was the first repeat since the Patriots did it.
Yeah, that was the first one since the Patriots did it.
So, I mean, I know they're running a full train and they're a powerhouse and they got the Taylor Swift momentum going for them, but anybody can win it next year too, dog. So, who knows, man? Maybe this is just a crazy dynasty and we're just living in the Kansas City Chiefs world.
So, Pat Mahomes is 28. He'll be 29 before next season starts. Mm-hmm. We'll call him 28, just for argument's sake. He's got 3 rings. Brady played till he was 45. He got 7. Mm-hmm. He also had Bill Belichick for 23 of those years.
And Andy Reid's not going to be there his entire
That's what I just looked it up. Andy Reid is 65 today. He'll be 66 before next season starts. So that means if Pat got Andy for another 10 seasons, which is pushing it.
Oh, no way, but yeah.
It's pushing it.
Yeah.
It could be done. I mean, Bill's 73 or something like that. So, we'll just call it 10, just for argument's sake. He would have to win another 3 rings in that time frame and then win another one without him. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, I mean, Travis Kelce isn't going to be there in 10 years.
No.
Because he's probably got, how old's Travis Kelce? Almost 30?
He's 34. He's my age. So he's 34.
He's 34? Yeah, he's got 2 more years left?
Yeah.
So there's his number 1 target's gone and or getting old and slow.
Yeah.
He doesn't have Tyreek anymore. Mm-hmm. So who's left? Kadarius Toney, the kid that runs, the guy that runs like he bites
Kadarius,
people.
The guy on Instagram talking shit?
I'm sure. He's all over Twitter.
Yeah, I think he dropped a lot of passes.
Yeah.
And then he was out the AFC Championship game?
For half of it, yeah.
No, the whole game.
They sat him for the game?
No, he didn't even go. They said he was injured. And then
I don't remember.
He's the guy. He's got a grill too.
Yeah.
He's the guy. Yeah, no way he comes back.
Well, even if he does, they're not premier guys, and I don't think Andy Reid's done the best job at drafting and keeping players. Mm-hmm. He drafted Kelce, he drafted Patrick, he drafted Tyreek, but he only held Tyreek for 1 contract.
Yeah.
Kelsey's stayed because him and Pat are boys, but even Brady didn't have Gronk for all of them. He had to do 3 of them without Gronk, which was basically a skeleton crew of fucking wide receivers. Do you remember his main wide receiver when he won his first 3?
It wasn't Welker.
Nope.
It wasn't Edelman.
Nope. Well before those guys.
Yeah, it was. Oh fuck! I know his.
Brandon Lloyd.
Okay, I want to guess
was one of them.
Yeah, no.
Deion Branch was one of them.
Okay. Yeah.
No. And those were the only guys. And then he had Lawrence Maroney for a year. The first year he had Lawrence Maroney, but then other than that, he did it with nobodies.
One of my favorite thing about the Patriots though, they got Revis Highland for a season.
Yeah. Revis came out. He was just a fucking. He was a corner for hire. Yeah, he was a fucking.
Sick. And then go right back to the Jets.
Yeah, he was an assassin for hire.
I have one more thing about football.
Mm-hmm.
Happened an hour ago from us filming. Jimmy Garoppolo has been suspended 2 games for PED usage.
Interesting.
And everyone's roasting him, saying you did PEDs and you still sucked. You did PEDs, and it's probably something for recovery.
So Edelman got fucked up with using PEDs at one point in his career too, and he's explained it now, and it was basically One of the things he had used his entire football career had just recently been banned on the banned list, but it wasn't the product he was using. It was a compound in the product he was using that wasn't even like the main reason he was using it. Mm-hmm. And so he found out that that was the thing. He reported it to his staff, and then his staff was like, well, fuck, we can't just sit on this. We're the Patriots. We're going to get fucking raked through the coals if we do that.
Yeah.
So they had to report it. They reported it. He was suspended for like 4 games or whatever it was. 4 games, no game checks, which sucks for him, but you got to read the rules.
And plus,
you're playing in their league. You might as well play by their rules.
Later on, then
it's even worse. Then they like void championships, take away draft picks, fine the player and the fucking organization. Like, can't do that. I mean, that's what they did with Brady. With the Deflategate thing, they pulled Brady out for 4 games. They took away our first round draft pick, and they fined us like $2 million or something like that for cap space, which was just like insane for something that was proven innocent later down the line.
And he still got suspended.
He still got suspended. Like, it was proven innocent in court, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, by the way, you're still fucked up."
Free Brady.
Yeah, free Brady.
Free Brady.
Free Brady. Free Bill. I did see the other teams that Bill was supposed to go to. So it was Barstool Boston that posted it.
Okay.
And it was Michigan, Alabama, Oregon State, Mississippi State, and Navy. And I was like, all right, Navy's never going to fucking happen.
Right.
Like, if Bill's going to go to a college program, it's going to be an elite D1 program. I think the only ones out of those schools, I think it's Michigan and Bama are the only ones he would even look at.
If he went to Michigan to, like, do whatever.
Yeah. It'd be badass.
Yeah.
It would be badass. Even if he just went as like a fucking advisor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if they just hired him as like a freelance fucking guy.
Like
he didn't have to show up to the games, but he could show
Bill,
up to practices.
I'm having difficulty with this one area. Here's what you do. And then 8 hours later, you're an expert and you have a master's degree.
Yeah. I think Bill's done. I know Brady came out and said that he's got that competitive nature and he thinks he still has like another 8 more years coaching at some level. But I can't imagine him sitting out a year, waiting, and then signing another contract next year. I can't imagine that being a thing at his age. I think he's just done.
Yeah.
I think he's done. I think if anything, maybe he coaches like his fucking grandson's high school team or his grandson's fucking peewee team or whatever.
He talked to Jerry Jones, and Jerry said the only way Mike McCarthy's coming back is if he wins a Super Bowl. And then
that was another one of the things I was going to bring up.
And then Bill gets to take the Cowboys, who have a pretty decent squad.
Bill will never coach the Cowboys.
Damn.
Because Jerry will never give up his GM control.
True.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw did you see the new Gridiron Heights they posted?
Uh-uh.
Oh, it's pretty good. We'll have to watch it after this is over.
I'm behind like all season.
One of the they didn't do a lot of them. It was like one every couple weeks.
I saw like 2 or 3. But
yeah, they might have released like 7 or 8 this year. But
yeah.
They did one for like the end of the year, and Belichick was like getting pushed out of the camp or whatever because it was like him and Vrabel that were behind the gate, and he's like, "Oh, come on, you guys get me for coaching for you guys for the next couple of years, and in return, all I ask is complete and total control of your entire franchise." And that's just not going to happen. Like, Jerry's not going to give up control of, like, the draft picks or anything like that. That's not going to happen. And I don't think Bill wants to be in a position where he has to play with someone else's pieces. Like, I think he would rather go somewhere and, like, either build from scratch or just have total control over what happens with the roster, which the last 3 years, he didn't have total control over the Patriots roster.
Right.
And I think that's one of the reasons we fucking suffered. Because, I mean, with Mac, last year, we won, 8 games? We were, just above 500 and missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then this year, we won 3. You got to give him control.
Mm-hmm.
He's the greatest to ever do it. You just you live and die by the Belichick sword.
Yeah.
That's just what it has to be with him.
See if you can turn it around.
Yeah. I got a golf thing. It's pretty cool. It's one of the same stats that I brought up before, but it's just kind of funny. So Scotty Scheffler has been ranked number 1 in the world for 73 total weeks. Mm-hmm. To catch Tiger's record of total weeks at number 1, Scheffler would need to hold the top spot continuously until October 21st, 2035.
God damn.
Yeah. And that's just to match Tiger's weeks
just
at number
to tie
one.
it.
That's just to tie it. He'd have to go another week to fucking
break it.
And that'd be 2035.
So, like, the most impressive thing is, like, I watched Tiger Woods growing up my whole life, but did I ever pay attention to the stats at this level? No.
No, never. I didn't realize how great he actually was.
So realizing today's athletes that are now my age, some are still older, thankfully, but
I think Scottie Scheffler's younger than us.
He might be for sure, but like John Rahm is older. John Rahm is older than I am. Phil Mickelson's still the old generation, but Ricky Fowler, he's our age.
Scottie Scheffler's 27.
Yeah, he's younger. But all I'm saying is, like, now as an adult, dude, I didn't really get to know that I would appreciate how good Tiger Woods is when you.
Rahm is 29.
Okay, never mind.
He's younger than us.
He just looks older.
And then I think Ricky's a little older than I am.
Ricky's like 33.
I think he's older than that. I'll take the over.
Oh. He's my age.
35.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember watching Ricky when I was in high school, and he was doing some cool
Ricky,
shit.
we can be friends.
Could be.
Yeah.
He's going to have to start going by Rick and grow a mustache.
How old is old boy who lived golfer and used to have the field with Bryson DeChambeau?
Oh, Mr. Three Majors. What's his fucking name?
Mr.'s wife's feet was going to be on Jerry Street feet.
Yeah, god damn it. It was DeChambeau and not Xander Schauffele. Bryson DeChambeau.
Very tan.
Yeah.
Hurt his knee. God, why can't we think of this dude's name?
I'm pulling up the Live Golfer roster.
I'm trying to think as hard as I can, but it's just not working.
Bryson DeChambeau.
Oh, man, it's going to make me sick when you say it.
Dustin Johnson's there.
Oh, that's another.
I found it. You're going to be upset.
Yeah.
Brooks Koepka.
Brooks
Koepka.
God damn it. Fucking Brooks.
All right, how old is Brooks?
28.
I think he's older. 33.
Wow. Hey, Brooks is my age.
Brooks is your age.
We can be friends.
You can be friends.
We're just from two completely different classes at this point of our life. He's definitely upper middle class.
Upper. He's elite.
Yes, I know.
He's the one. All right. So how old are you? You're 33, right?
Yeah.
He's 33. He's won 5 majors.
Hey guys, I'm not a good golfer.
Yeah. So the day I turned 25, I remember sitting there and I looked over at my ex and I was like, damn, when Tom Brady was 25, he already had 3 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like dipped my head a little bit and I was like, I'm not doing enough.
No.
Look at me now.
Yeah.
Still not doing enough.
0 Super Bowl rings.
0 rings, 0 majors.
No
Tour de France's.
Speaking of sports,
I'm a failure as an athlete.
So Michigan, their athletic director, has been getting asked questions from the media on if they're going to let go of Juwan Howard.
Okay.
Ohio State just released their head coach for men's basketball. And Ward has only said, why are we talking about this? I'm just trying to give him as much support. Just kind of dancing around it. Mm-hmm. Not answering yes or no. Just kind of we're here to support each other. Right now, Michigan basketball, we're 3-11 in the conference and 8-17 overall. We're sucking.
Wow.
Howard's picks haven't been great. Terrible team. It's awful.
Basketball's got to be a tough sport to coach, though, especially at the college level, because like
I think college level's the most. Yeah, I think college level's the most difficult.
Yeah, because like if you don't have like a good rapport with like the local community, and then like if you don't impress like the nation, like the reason why Coach K got so many great fucking players is because he was Coach K.
Yeah, he got the donors, the alums.
Yeah, and I mean not even that. Like he was Coach K. Like
well,
he
right.
was Duke.
But
he was the powerhouse of college basketball. Like I don't even know any other major college basketball coach names. I don't even know his real name.
Your fans can love you, but your donors and board could hate you.
Yes, but if the fans love you 9 times out of 10, the board's going to love you too, because that means you're doing great things for the program. Like if you win, like it's almost like a luck of the draw thing. kind of like let's say if your new coach came in and made it to the fucking Final Four and then lost out, you're going to get some pretty good recruits next year because like they saw what you did. But if you have a team like you're doing now, you only won 2 conference games.
Well, we did that like 5 years ago. I mean, well, actually,
it's been a while since you guys made the fucking
6 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say you were in the military when you went to that game, weren't you?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, no, so it was
like 7 or 8 years
2018.
ago. Yeah,
so 5 yeyears ago.
Yeah, well, it's 24 now, so
6 years ago. Yeah. Well, it's not March Madness yet.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
that was a while ago.
But
2018 was almost a decade ago.
As bad as I thought Michigan basketball was doing, Detroit Mercy, shout out Nick Minerath, played 2 seasons there. They won their first game this season yesterday. They were favored for they were 0 and whatever. 0 and I'm guessing 22.
Yeah.
They were 0 and 22. And they were favored by like 8 points, and I just saw like a gambling thing, like oh, I'm gonna bet against them for them because they were favored. They won the game, and one fan stormed the court, and that's it. He was on the court. He's like, yeah, and then he looked around. And he was like, oh, no one's here, and then just got off the court. So, shout out to Detroit Mercy for getting that fucking win this season.
Yeah,
because I mean, man, if another Detroit team went 0 and everything, I think that would be
detrimental to the city, especially after that big fucking loss in the playoffs.
We're in a simulation at that point, yeah. And Detroit's the shithole.
Do you think Detroit would have had a better game against the Chiefs?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
Better than coming down to the very last play of overtime?
Mm-hmm.
I think the better team won that game.
Yeah, I mean,
I think the better matchup for the Chiefs won that game.
Yeah, it just sucks because
would it have been dope to see? Yeah, it would have been dope. I think it would have been not a blowout, but I think the Chiefs would have won by 10.
My brother's early predictions next season is Green Bay and the Lions have the NFC Championship at Ford Field. And I was like, that would be fucking...
I don't even think that's possible.
1 and 2. So...
Well, yeah, wouldn't you guys play before the NFC Championship, though? Wouldn't you guys play in the divisional round?
No,
because you guys couldn't be the 2 seed.
Yeah, we could.
No, you couldn't.
If the Lions went...
The 2 seed would be one of the other conference champions. So you guys would get a wild card spot.
No, isn't it the 2 highest overall records?
1, 2, 3, and 4 are the conference champions.
And 1 and 2, no,
you couldn't beat 1 and 2.
You're right. I thought it was the top. Oh yeah, you're right. Well, I'm gonna have to look at seedings.
You guys wouldn't play each other if one of you guys had the 1. That means one of you guys would have to have the 5, 6, or 7.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you couldn't an entire conference.
But they would, yeah. Unless it manufactured to where every time it was reseeded that they just happened to not play each other.
I don't think that would be a thing. I think you guys would play each other in the divisional round.
Yeah, probably.
Because that's what happened for Miami. Miami got booted out by the Bills.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know.
Because Miami could have had the 1 seed, but they lost to the Bills. So instead of having the 1 seed, they had the fucking 6 seed.
Yeah, but the Lions were 2 and the Packers were 7. And the Packers lost.
You guys would have played each other the second week had you guys made it out of the first round.
Well, no, during the second week, the Lions we played the 49ers and lost, and the Lions played...
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck did the Lions beat? The Cowboys.
Yeah, and that was in the first round.
Oh no, the Packers beat the Cowboys, and then the Packers lost to the 49ers. But who did the Lions play?
Let's look it up.
The Lions played. Holy fuck! What was the team? Because if the Lions and the Packers would have won, then they would have played each other in the final, in the NFC Championship game.
No, there was no way you guys could have. Oh yeah, I guess there was a way you guys could have done that if you guys reseeded. If you guys would have beaten the Niners, you would have played in the NFC Championship. Damn, yep. I didn't even think that was possible.
Yeah. So it is possible. So
that's right. So the fucking okay, here we go.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, because you guys beat the Cowboys. They beat the Rams.
They became the highest seed.
And then they played the Bucks, and they beat the Bucks.
Yeah, and if we would have beat the fucking Niners, then it would have been Lions, Packers, and
yeah, because the Niners were the
because
one seed.
that was the game this year where I was going, I might spend.
That's right. The Niners were the 1 seed, and then the other side, the Ravens were the 1 seed.
Yeah,
that's right. I don't think it's going to happen.
No,
I don't think it's going to happen.
That would mean that the Packers would have to be the last seed again.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
I hope.
I think so.
Early predictions for the Packers pre-draft. I think we're cooking. I think we're still a 10-6 team.
Mm-hmm.
I know I went our 10-7 team. I know I went 11-6 last year. But before pre-draft, I'll go 10-7.
Oh man, pre-draft for the Patriots, I don't see us winning more than 5 games next year. Depends on who we fucking draft and what we pick up in the fucking offseason. I'm not as high as last year preseason, but I mean, if we get our quarterback or we get Marvin Jr. I think even if we get Marvin Jr., I think it's 6 wins is like the over/under. And if I'm betting money on it and it's 5.5, I'll take the over.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm betting money and it's 6.5, I'm taking the under.
Yeah, we'll have to do.
But if we get like let's say we get like Drake May, and then maybe we sign some dudes in the off season for cheap, like we get some wide receiver help. Our defensive powerhouses come back. Maybe we make a push and we get just above 500. Maybe just miss out on playoffs. We're rebuilding. I don't see us winning a playoff game for the next 2 years. At the minimum, like zero high hopes for me right now.
With my team is I don't see us winning an NFC championship for at least 3 years.
I mean, if you guys put the right squad together.
But that goddamn NFC championship has been haunting the Packers for a
you guys aren't good
decades.
against the Niners, dude. You need
Christian
McCaffrey to break his fucking leg halfway through the year or something.
Nah, we'll beat them the old-fashioned way.
You haven't.
Nope.
Ever. You just haven't.
It just shows I need to pray harder.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Robin was right this whole time.
Yeah.
I have a cut stumper for you.
Yeah, sure.
All right. There's only been one player to catch a touchdown pass from both Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. Do you know who that player is?
Oh, Juju?
No. Juju was after Brady.
You're right. Fuck. Has to be someone in the younger years. Is it Welker?
After Welker. I don't even think Mahomes was in the league when Welker played.
I'm trying to think. It was one of the receivers that went over from the Patriots. I mean, of course, but I'm trying to think of the years that when Patrick Mahomes.
I'll give you a hint. It was a guy that played for multiple teams, and he's not known for being a Chief or a Patriot.
Wow, that makes it even harder. I don't know.
Josh Gordon.
I forget about Josh Gordon.
The weed smoker himself.
Yeah.
Mr. Speed, couldn't stay off the weed.
Now, did Josh Gordon catch one from Brady's second then? Or did he play the
I would imagine...
Because didn't Josh Gordon play for the Bucks?
Yes.
So did he also catch a fucking touchdown pass?
I don't think he caught a touchdown, because I know he played for the Patriots too. Because I almost bought his jersey, but he only played for like 5 games. He might have gotten a touchdown in those 5 games as a Patriot. I don't think he played with Brady on the Bucks. I'll have to look it up.
I don't know who I would be thinking of. Oh, he's the dude who originally started with Cleveland.
Tom Brady threw his 500th career touchdown pass to Josh Gordon as a Patriot.
Nice.
So now let's go.
He didn't play for the Bucks. He played for the Browns.
Yeah, that was
the
original years for him.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of that he played for. And then he played for the Seattle Sea Dragons in 2023.
Yeah, so he caught his touchdown pass from Mahomes in 2021. So he caught the pass from Brady first, and then he went over to the Chiefs for like 7 games.
Nice.
But, yeah, I thought that was interesting. Such a weird player to have that in common between the two of them, because he was one of those what-if players, too. Like, what if he didn't get suspended all those times, and weed was just totally okay in the NFL. Mm-hmm. But, like, there's so many dudes. Like, fucking Randy Moss smoked weed all the fucking time. Warren Sapp said he was high for the majority of his games. Like I don't understand.
It's like the one guy who explained it. He's like, look, everybody knows the dates. Mm-hmm. Everyone stops.
Yeah.
He just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, I remember I used to get in that argument with people when I was in the military because they're like, oh, they should just be able to smoke weed. It's legal in these states. Da-da-da. If it's legal in your state, you should be able to do it. And it's like, well, yeah, I get that, but it's not like a publicly traded entity. Mm-hmm. It's their own corporation, and they make the rules for it, and they tell you when you're getting tested. The only time they don't tell you when you're getting tested is if it's for steroids, and then it's just random. They don't randomly test them for drugs. Everyone knows the dates for them.
Yeah.
Like they tell them. Every single one of those motherfuckers smokes weed. Except for maybe I bet you Kirk Cousins probably fucking doesn't.
The PED test. That's the only thing they're testing for. So you can have and then they probably test for like.
Well, they test for the PEDs. They also test for amphetamines. Yeah. They also test for opiates.
But weed.
They don't test for weed for those.
Yeah.
And even then, I don't know. If you're gonna the league's paying you millions of dollars to play a sport that you've practiced your entire life. You love the sport, and they say, hey, don't smoke weed. I would just smoke weed in the off season.
I just had to I
would smoke weed for 4 months in the off season. I'd quit a month before fucking training camp was about to start.
As hard as I work right now, I was just had this discussion with my roommate. I said, look, man, if someone came up and said, hey, I want you to work the same job, but I want you to work for my private company at $120,000 a year. The only thing is you can't smoke marijuana. Mm-hmm. I'd say, give me 30 days to get clean, and I'll come work for you. And yeah it sucks dick that I can't enjoy marijuana.
You just drink a little more.
Yeah, but at the same time, 10 years working a job that makes $120,000. Once you retire,
and it's not even 120. That's like the lowest of the low. The rookie minimum is 900K.
I was just saying, like, if a job,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, let's say the NFL came up to you and they're like, "Hey, we need you to block, or we need you to kick field goals." Mm-hmm. Like, well, we're going to give you $900,000 a year to do this. You have to be clean for it. I'm clean tomorrow.
I'm eating
I'm
healthy.
Doing whatever the fuck I have to do.
I'm working out twice a day. I'm getting a personal trainer.
Yeah, I don't know. These guys get like a huge opportunity, and that was my argument before I found out like all the inner workings of like the college nil deals. Like I was like, fuck them kids. They're getting education, and they're also like working on their resume to make millions of dollars in 3 years or 4 years, whatever it is.
I played Michigan football.
Yeah, they're working on their resume to build up the thing. Like there's no need there's no need for them to make millions of dollars in a year. But now that I understand it more, like those schools, literally Alabama makes 80% of its profits via the football team.
Basically every college except for a sliver here and there, NCAA football pays for the debts of all the other ones that
it lifts up all the other organizations, all the shitty track teams, it's
not shitty track, it's just like
that's what I'm saying though, like all the track teams don't make enough money for them to stay afloat unless they're champions every year.
Yeah.
Whereas Alabama football team, they're still going to sell out stadiums even if they don't win all their games. Yeah. Like even if they only win 8 games a season, the Alabama faithful are still going to be there buying tickets.
The NCAA men's football is the same thing as the NBA.
Yeah.
Without the NBA, the WNBA would cease to exist.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to blame anybody, blame women because they make up half our population and they're not watching it either. But if you look at how much money the NBA pays in their debt every year just to have them afloat, if football just said, hey, it's too dangerous, we can never play football again, collegiate sports as we know it, there's going to be basketball is going to be the primary, but all those other sports are going to be like, oh, we can't afford that shit anymore.
Anyways, my whole point was I fucking like the nil deals. I think that if you're a kid going to college and you're fucking killing it for your school, bringing them in a bunch of money, like how much money do you think J.J. McCarthy made the University of Michigan just being who he is? And them selling his jerseys and all the merch with his name on it.
$750 million.
That's what I'm thinking.
At the minimum.
And especially since they just won a natty and he was the main quarterback for it. So I think he should be maybe not entitled to a portion of what they make on that, but he should be able to sell his own fucking likeness. He should be able to sign jerseys and sell that. Because that's what Johnny Manziel got like fucked up for. And he didn't get fucked up for it, but he said that he used to do it all the time. He would go into bars, sign a couple autographs, and then eat for free for the month. Like, I think that should be totally legal to do.
Yeah.
And it wasn't back then. Mm-hmm. And I think the same thing with Reggie Bush. Like, the boosters bought his mom a house so he'd come play for USC. Do I think he still would have won a fucking Heisman anywhere else? Yeah, of course. He was the most electric player in college football at the fucking time. Like, he was just that fucking guy. He probably would have won a Heisman playing for the Air Force Academy with those fucking numbers. Could you imagine Reggie playing for the Air Force Academy?
Right.
That'd be insane. He would have had so many more yards because of the competition that they fucking played. He would have went off for fucking 800 against Army.
Right.
Like, it would have been insane. He was a top-tier player. He deserved, top-tier compensation for what he was bringing that school.
It's whatever Deion Sanders was doing. He was in college because he was just driving around convertibles.
Deion said that the first car that he bought, he was making fun of his kid because his kid bought a fucking Rolls Royce with his nil deal money when they got to Colorado, and he was like, "Man, I was driving around in a green Honda Civic my freshman year."
Yeah.
And then he started, getting some more cash because he was Deion and he ran a fucking sub 240, buying diamond earrings and shit.
Dual sport athlete.
Yeah, dual sport athlete. What's up, man? But yeah, I like the nil deals. I don't think they should be entitled to money that the school makes off of their name, but they should sign a deal that was like, hey, we're gonna sell your name. You can also sell your name.
Yeah.
And you can go get sponsorships. You can buy your own jerseys from us, sign them, and then sell them for a ridiculous markup. Like,
and now
that
NCAA is coming back.
Yeah.
Because of NIL.
Yes, and I think that's fucking great, and that's gonna keep kids in the system. Like, you're going to find a lot less kids just doing 3 years and done, like the minimum to get into the NFL, because they're already making that money.
I also think that with NCAA, because the NIL deal made a pathway to the NCAA coming back because you can use likenesses again. Mm-hmm. I think that college football becomes even more popular than it is.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to have kids that just go, oh, I don't want to play Madden, but this NCAA game is fun as fuck.
The NCAA game is... Yeah, the NCAA game is crazy.
That's all I played.
As a kid, I didn't even like college football. I didn't like watching it, but I much preferred the NCAA football game to Madden, mainly because of all the options you got for like the solo player mode, like the Road to Glory or whatever the fuck they used to call it. Yeah, and that was the best. And then I love the fact that like the old ones, I think it was like the NCAA football game like 07 or 08 or something, where you had your freshman year, you had a picture of your girlfriend and she was like a chunky chick that wasn't all that good looking.
Right.
And then like after you like won the Heisman, the next year you'd go in and you'd have some like blonde bimbo in the picture frame instead. Like, it would change that. That was like one of the things in the game. Like, you didn't get to pick it.
Yeah.
But it would just change the better you did.
Yeah.
And then like your dorm room got cooler.
That was my favorite part.
You had better jerseys up. You had a trophy case in your dorm room with all your fucking Heismans that you won. Like, that shit was dope, dude.
You're still living in the dorms.
I still want them to do like a 2K style career mode where you can just like walk around the city and then you go to like your loft that you have, and maybe as a freshman it's just like a dorm room and there's like two other dudes sitting in there on the couch.
Dude, this year too, you're probably gonna like, oh, your on-field performance affects your NIL deal money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you like coming out of like, so you know how you play like the 4 or 5 high school games, right?
You can't afford.
So like
the
better you do in those high school games. Like, imagine you do shitty in them, but you still get like you can still walk on somewhere. But then there's like a debt counter, so it shows how much debt you're in.
Yeah.
And then after you blow up your freshman year and you win like the Heisman or whatever, then people come out of the woodwork and they're like, "Yo, we'll give you 2.2 million."
Your style of living affects your on-field performance because, like, oh, you got injured, so your NIL money didn't come in. You have to move apartments.
Yeah.
This caused this stress.
You didn't read the fine print in your nil deal, so now you don't have anything. Now your stamina's dropped to 70%.
Now your awareness is dropped because you're not getting sleep because you're back sleeping next to the railroad tracks.
Yeah. Because your roommate keeps snoring, you can't afford your own apartment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted, ever since I was a kid, I wanted like a mixture between Madden and Grand Theft Auto, where you could just like drive around and just kick it and like go do shit. Maybe you go to like the park, you see a pickup football game, you're like, hey, let me play with you guys.
That is realistic because the guy for the LSU running back just got arrested for attempted murder or murder. One of the two. Like, I think he just got either attempted murder or
maybe
murder.
make it to where you can't like murder people. Maybe make it like the city in 2K. But then like there's like options for like hotels. Like, you can stay in a hotel, you can buy a loft, you can get an apartment with roommates. There's like different locations locations around the city that you can check
your
out the apartments before you buy
in the
them.
Apartment, you're suspended one game because you
guilty by association.
Yeah.
You just get fucked for that one game, and then that affects your Heisman standings because you missed the game. Now you got to catch up.
You're hanging out with a baddie and she wants to smoke a blunt.
Do you do it?
Yeah. Oh, she walks away.
Sorry. If that's the case in this next game coming up, the first playthrough I do will live the life of Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
He's going to win 4 fucking Heismans. He's going to go to church 4 times a week.
Yeah.
Right before practice.
Celebration is a knee.
Yeah. He's just praising God.
Just like my Pledge of Allegiance stance. Yeah. We are on the left knee.
Yeah.
Oh, man, dude.
That would be funny. I did have a couple more things. So one thing I saw a couple weeks ago, Kanye's already passed 1 billion streams on Spotify for the year.
Wow.
And he did that on February 5th.
Hilarious.
So it took him a month and 5 days to
good for Kanye.
pass 1 billion streams. He's the number 1 most streamed artist on Spotify, which is fucking dope. Number 2 is Taylor.
Hilarious.
Yeah. There was some beef that I don't know if it ever got confirmed.
The Super Bowl?
Yeah.
He said no.
Oh, Kanye said no?
Kanye said no. It was reported by
that doesn't mean anything.
It was reported by an ex-NFL player.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Kanye said nah.
Okay. It doesn't mean anything for me.
I'm blindly
apparently the story is Kanye found out what booth Taylor was going to be in, so he bought a ticket right underneath the booth. So whenever they showed Taylor, Kanye and his little Kanye mask would have been shown.
Yeah.
And apparently right before the game, they shifted Kanye's ticket to somewhere else. It was a better seat, but it wasn't the seat he paid for. And maybe he didn't do it on purpose. Maybe he just bought the tickets that were close to one of the booths before he knew Taylor was going to be there. And then they were like, hey, we got you some better seats. And he was like, all right, I'll take the better seats. But they also didn't show Kanye one time on the fucking Jumbotron.
Right.
Like they showed all the other stars. They didn't show Kanye.
And everybody thought Kanye was on stage for Usher, but he was not.
That was not Kanye.
Yeah. It was on Twitter, like, oh, me thinking it was Kanye.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not Kanye.
Yeah. I saw a stand-up that was talking about, he was a black dude, and he was talking about how black people need to enjoy this Super Bowl halftime show now and reminisce starting now. He's like, because that's the blackest show we're going to get ever. He's like, there's no way it's ever going to get blacker than that. We've had 4 years of black Super Bowl halftime shows. They threw Eminem in that 1 year for diversity. But he's like, this motherfucker it was fucking Usher and Ludacris and Lil Jon and Alicia Keys. He's like, this was a fucking cookout.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's never going to happen again. And he's like, maybe it's because they don't have any white rock stars anymore. Because like Bon Jovi back in the day fucking rocked it. Mm-hmm. And like nowadays they're looking for these big rock stars to put on this crazy big show. He's like, who are they going to put out there? Fucking Ed Sheeran?
Weird Al.
Yeah, Weird Al, Ed Sheeran. He's like fucking Adele. He's like, don't get me wrong, Adele's got fucking pipes, but is she a fucking rock star? Is she 50-yard line at the Super Bowl rock star?
Is she running around on stage?
I also saw a thing that was pretty funny about the halftime show, and it was like, man, all these millennials realizing that they are now the target demographic for the halftime show. Because like when we were a kid, it was like the fucking Rolling Stones or something like that. And your dad was like, fuck yeah, the Rolling Stones. And you're like, ah.
Yeah.
Why don't they put Blink-182 up there?
Prince.
Yeah, exactly. Prince, fucking Michael Jackson. Like, they had all these dudes. Yeah, and he's like, he was funny. He's like, they started us off with The Weeknd. And he's like, he's black, but...
I do have a Super Bowl update.
Do you?
Yeah. Brad did not watch it.
The Super Bowl?
A halftime show.
Oh. Did he turn it off? He physically...
No, he said, I muted it and went and did stuff upstairs till it was over. And I was like, you didn't want the sound coming through the TV, did you, Brad? Wasn't for me, that's what he said.
Oh, man. Yeah, I heard it looked like a circus.
Yeah. I made a callback to that and nobody said anything.
We looked at each other, we were like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, and nobody else said anything, or
yeah, there's an old white lady who was watching the Super Bowl with us, and she, as soon as Ludacris came out, she was like, "Wow, this looks like a circus."
And I just said,
and the funniest thing about that is she was married to a black dude for like 20 years before he died. Like,
it's just being a racist.
Yeah, just I don't know.
She was just married
She's just
to him
not
just
a fan.
so she could have an ultimate defense card. You activated my Infinity card. I'm married to a black guy.
Yeah, and that was how I won Cards Against Humanity. I just kept putting out whatever the black card I had in my hand was when it was her turn. I would even if it was going to be funny or for something else, I would save
you're
it.
Racist towards a specific group when you play Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah,
that's a good.
Yeah.
Any new person.
I made a joke because there was one of them. It was it was like spraying Nazis with nacho cheese, and like that one is like a game winner for like any card almost.
Yeah.
And I was like, the one card that always wins is the big black dick.
Oh.
The big black dick card wins every single one of them. That's just a guaranteed you're going to win that one. And she goes, yeah, it is. And then I said, okay. And then I started playing. Like one of them was like, what are you listening to before you go in to get euthanized or something like that? And I just put The Sounds of Africa. That one won. There were some way better ones than that, but that one won.
Right.
I just thought it was funny. Anything that I had that was remotely black when it was her turn, I was just like, read that one.
That's a good thing to like. If you ever have a new person to your group and you don't know what they're into, play Cards Against Humanity against them. And you're another. If you have someone that never picks like the grosses of humor, they might not be for your group either. Yeah. And then if you get somebody that targets a specific group every time it comes up, we know.
You know. Yeah, it's funny. The only other thing I have is we talked about last week how Suits was like the #1 most streamed thing in the world last year. They're doing a spinoff called Suits LA, and that's headed to production in NBC Studios right now.
I saw a clip that Lewis lit, and the actress that plays the redhead, Donna, met Larry David, and Larry David was like, "Oh my God, you're her," and was just like flabbergasted. And then she was like, "Lewis," and he's like, "Oh my God, you're Lewis," and he was like, "I'll take that to the grave because I love that." Another reboot. I know we talked about this. X-Men '97.
Yes, new March. Animated X-Men.
Yep.
And it's post Professor X.
I'm gonna start.
Cyclops apparently is the new headmaster at the school. Wolverine's still Wolverine.
Yeah.
And I guess fucking Cyclops and old girl had a baby.
Wow.
Which is interesting. Not canon for the live action, but...
Hey, look, all I'm saying is Rogue's
always been a baby.
Rogue looked nice in the animated X-Men.
Live action, I was more of a Storm motherfucker, but...
Well, yeah, Halle Berry. I'm just
Halle
saying,
Berry's the fucking
but
goat,
all
dude.
I'm saying is, if you go back and look at the way that they drew Rogue in X-Men 97...
Yeah.
Thick.
Yeah.
So if they try to hit us with a not thick Rogue, I'm done.
Speaking of X-Men, I'm doing a rewatch with Chris because she has never seen
the 2000s,
all of the X-Men movies.
Okay.
And so what I'm gonna have her do is I started her off with X-Men Origins Wolverine because that's like top 10, one of my favorite movies all time. It was one of the few movies I had on DVD in high school. So I had her watch that, and she was like, wow, that was really good. I didn't know all that about Wolverine. And I was like, well, this is like one timeline of Wolverine, because, you know, Marvel has a million fucking multiverses, and
different variations of the same
it's just
comics.
their way of being able to change the storylines in the future, just in case some weird shit happens.
Right.
But, like, this specific Wolverine was born in, you know, the 1700s and fought in every single American war on the winning side, and never died, and then gets captured, and then gets like contracted to do all this like weird mutant killing shit, and then he gets the adamantium for his bones, and now he's just like the most indestructible being on the planet because he's Wolverine, and now he's made out of fucking adamantium instead of just human bone.
Right.
But yeah, she had no idea that he had like a brother and how nasty his brother was. It had his I still say this to this day, had his brother been able to survive the adamantium transfusion thing, he would have been the biggest antagonist in the entire Marvel series until they get to like intergalactic bullshit, obviously.
Right.
But like just as far as like powerful Earthlings go, he would have been the fucking guy because he beat the shit out of Wolverine before he got the adamantium. Beat the shit out of him. He had the fucking wolf claws on his hands and his feet that could like grow and retract.
Yeah.
And so he could use those to like dig into buildings and like crawl up them, and he had the fucking weird jumping ability. Yeah, it was insane. So had he gotten those adamantium claws, he would have been a fucking piece of shit to deal with. Also, she was like, "Oh, look, they had Ryan Reynolds in this as Deadpool." And I was like, "Yeah, but this was like a version of Deadpool that wasn't even the best version of him, like wasn't the coolest version of him, and they fucked him up. Like they made him shittier than he already was, because Deadpool, Wade Wilson gets captured and experimented on. and they sewed his mouth shut. That was like his whole thing, was that he was a mouthy piece of shit.
Yeah.
Because even in the original, when they did all the experiments on him and put the adamantium in him, he still had his fucking mouth, and he was still a mouthy piece of shit. Mm-hmm. And they like added some other shit to him. They made him like way too OP to live. And then at the very end, they had like a post-credit scene where it was Ryan Reynolds' head, and like the hand came up to like grab his mouth, and he opened his eyes like he was gonna come back for something as that Deadpool.
Yeah.
Fuck that Deadpool.
Yeah.
That Deadpool fucking sucked.
Yeah, unless you ripped off your mouthpiece.
Yeah, because that wasn't even the original story. That was some spin-off story that they had for some weird comic book, and then on top of that, they butchered it anyways. They were
like, let's make it fucked up.
Well, yeah, on top of that, they butchered the character anyways. They just like they changed him. They fundamentally changed him to the point to where nobody fucking liked it.
Right.
And then they had to reboot.
Swords come out of my arms like Wolverine.
Well, I mean, that was a thing for the one that he got fucking experimented on, but then they added like the diamond skin. They put
the diamond skin over the lips so he couldn't talk, which is stupid.
Well, no, they sewed his lips shut. That was what they did. They sewed his lips shut, and they gave him the hardening ability that one chick's sister had, the diamond skin hardening ability.
Yeah.
But then he couldn't have like a certain amount active at a certain time, and then he also had like Cyclops' fucking laser vision, but he didn't need the red stuff over his eyes. He could just fucking do it like Superman, and he was fine. And then he also had Wolverine's fucking healing ability, which was dumb because I guess they might have stolen it from Victor, but they never got the chance to take the DNA from Wolverine. Mm-hmm. And then they gave him like the Will.i.am was in that movie, and he had like the teleportation shit where he would just poof, kind of like Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
And they gave him that ability too. They just made him too fucking overpowered.
Yeah.
And they just had to kill him. I do like that they had the same actor play Colonel Stryker for like all of the X-Men movies, because he was like the main antagonist for like the military.
Yeah.
For all of the X-Men movies, and in this one he was Major. So he was Major Stryker, and then he was Colonel, and then he was General towards the end of it. And I think that's kind of cool that they got that timeline right, at least for like the military ranks and who he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be a fun fucking watch through, because it's been so long since I've watched them. Mm-hmm. And then even after we finish like the main storyline, there's X-Men Apocalypse, which is like the ending of it all, and then there's X-Men First Class, which is like the prequel to everything except for Wolverine, because Wolverine's fucking 300 years old.
Right.
But I did really enjoy the scene in '97, the animated, the commercial that they came out with, when Gambit was on the back of Wolverine, and Wolverine threw his claws out, and Gambit used his powers on the claws, so they were like glowing, that like pink glowy thing, and Gambit had like the card above that was glowing pink, and then his claws were glowing pink too, and they were just sprinting. I thought that was a really cool fucking scene. I'm definitely gonna watch that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna watch that.
Sick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got here. Tiger's back playing golf. I got a little bit of money on him getting an eagle today. Hopefully he makes the cut and gets another couple days to get an eagle. Genesis Open down there in California. Genesis Invitational, sorry. Down there in California. Weather looks great. Golf course looks great.
Go Tiger.
Go Tiger, go.